Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Celtic Way. We're doing something a wee bit different tonight. Hopefully, you can see us fine and well. Can't see any of the comments, so we're just going to do this as best as we can, just the two of us. It is Dundee versus Celtic live at Dens Park. Perfect timing. We've got the music that comes on at the same time. Tony, have you got the team there? So I'll just read out the team. We don't have any of the team graphics either, but we're just going to do it as best as we can like this. So the Celtic line-up against Dundee is Casper Schmeichel in goals, a back four of Alistair Johnston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty and Greg Taylor. Got a midfield three of Paulo Bernardo, Cal McGregor the captain and Luke McCowan. And up front, Adam Ida leads the line, Kyogo on the right and Yang Hoon Jun to the left. Tony, what do you make of that team?
I did have a feeling that he would play the same front three, Ryan, and it turns out to be the case. Also felt that McCowan would be in the team, and that's the case. Maybe the big surprise is Engels not playing, but I think that's a team that's looking ahead to the Young Boys of Burns game as well, and he'll probably freshen it up for Kilmarnock too on Saturday. But it's still a strong team, Ryan. Kuhn back in the bench, excellent to see that, but again, if they don't have to, I wouldn't risk Kuhn in any shape or form tonight.
Good to see him back in the bench, and good to see Lewis Palmer on the bench as well. Just read out the bench in full. The subs are Sinisalo, Scales, Palmer, Kuhn, Baye, Kenny, Engels, Hatate and Ralston. So a really strong lineup. Tony, what are you expecting tonight from Celtic against Tony Docherty's Dundee side?
Well, you only need to look at last week and how well Tony Docherty's Dundee played against Rangers, and they had several key players missing. But again, it's always about what Celtic do, Ryan. That's a strong team for me, and I don't see any reason why they can't go out and get a result. Second chance in a few days to go 18 points clear of Rangers. It's all about being professional and clinical, and Kyogo back scoring on Saturday against Ross County is fine for him. That they got a lot of joy from that front three on Saturday. I think the only missing piece of that jigsaw now is for Adam Ida to score. Maybe to flip that on its head this time and for Adam Ida to take centre stage.
I think we're all hoping for Adam Ida and willing for him to score a goal, because I believe it's been 11 games since he last scored for Celtic. He's been working hard. It's not as if his effort has been in question, but he's just not had any luck in front of goal. Kyogo starts on the right tonight, Adam Ida leading the line. Are you wanting Adam Ida to really break that duck, the sort of duck that's formed? I know he's scored a few goals for Celtic already this season, maybe a big goal in this game. Not that we're hoping that it's a tight game by any means, but you're hoping that he can make that breakthrough in front of goal.
Very much so, Ryan, and he did a lot of good things on Saturday. You know, he had the neat flick that led to the first goal. He had a wonderful headed knockdown, which when you see it again, Kyogo should really score. Kyogo should have had more than a hat-trick on Saturday. So he is doing things, and the manager mentioned him yesterday that he'll come good, and he's still doing things that please him a lot. So you go with what the manager's saying. The manager's happy with him. The player's unhappy with himself because he's not scoring, and every striker judges himself on scoring goals, and he said himself he's his own harshest critic when he's not doing that. So I think that's the biggest thing for Adam Ida, and that will put the biggest smile on his face if he bursts the net tonight, and I actually feel quite confident he can do that, Ryan. I don't think he'll go 12 games without scoring. Famous last words. Famous
last words. Hopefully that is the case for Adam Ida. Get Kyogo out on the right. What did you make of his performance on Saturday? Playing in a familiar role maybe in Japan, but not so much in Scotland for Celtic. He was there, he scored 2 goals, he had a lot of touches of the ball. I believe it was 31 or 32 passes or touches of the ball. So he was much more involved in the grand scheme of things. What are you expecting from him tonight? Are you expecting another double tonight for Kyogo? Is that maybe what you're hoping for?
I'm expecting more of the same, Ryan. I thought it was impossible to mark on Saturday, because he came short, he came deep, he went out wide, he went through the middle. You know, he was a nightmare for defenders because they couldn't pin him down. 2 wonderful finishes, great cross from Alistair Johnston, swept home, and the header's textbook, but it's all in the delivery. The header, Engels' delivery was sensational, and again he had a couple other chances, didn't he, the headed knockdown, but he also had, I think he's not talked about enough, see his pass to Yang that led to the penalty. Go and look at it again. It's one of the passes of the season for me. It's absolutely sublime, and it was a real return to form for Kyogo on Saturday. Not just a couple of goals, but his all-round play. He was brilliant, and considering the backdrop going into it, Ryan, with the MLS bungo and all that, and this constant vortex that's swirling around him of, is this the window where he leaves? Brendan Rodgers is happy with Kyogo. Kyogo's happy. He's back scoring goals. You know, all the players are saying that he's the same guy. No, nothing's changed. You know, nothing has changed. Kyogo probably would be disappointed with his own tally of 12 this season, but again, another chance to add to that tonight. And I want more of the same, because I thought he was excellent on Saturday, really good.
Yeah. A return to Dens Park, his first return to Dens Park for former Dundee captain Luke McCowan tonight, a player that was so pivotal to everything good about Dundee over the past couple of seasons. He makes his grand return to the team that he knows so fondly, the team that have not so much resurrected his career but made his career, made him as a midfielder because he was playing out wide before then. Tony Docherty moves him into the middle of the park, maybe Bowyer before that as well. He is now a Celtic player, a bona fide Celtic player. He scored goals for Celtic. He scored against Ross County last time out at Dingwall. What are you expecting tonight from him? Are you hoping he come back to haunt his former employers tonight against Dundee? You know, he's a player that they'll know all about, but will they be able to stop him? I guess that's the question.
First and foremost, I'm glad Brendan Rodgers put him in the team for that alone. This is a place he knows at the back of his hand. You know, so just go out and do your thing, Luke, and show the Dundee supporters what they're missing and what they once had. And you know, I think that this boy is a genuine talent. I really do. He's got a lot in his locker, and he is one. You were talking about wishing Adam Eder to do well. The Celtic supporters are willing this guy to do really well, and it's nights like tonight where he can turn around and he can say, "This is why I'm a Celtic player. This is why I took the step up. Dundee was great for my career, but I'm now on the next part of my journey in football." He's done the hard yards, Ryan. This is his reward, and coming back, as you say, hopefully to haunt his old club and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to see him have a really good game. And he came on Saturday and he scored, and that's what you're wanting from substitutes, to come on and have an impact. And even though it was the fourth goal of the game, Ryan, how delighted was he to score? He loves scoring for Celtic. So what better way to do it again than against your old club and just sort of say, you know, you loved me once, but I'm now at a different part. It's a different chapter for me, and I think the Dundee supporters would wish him well as well, because they know he's done the hard yards.
I'm sure he's going to get a really, really good response from the Dundee fans. Before we continue, Tony, I'm just going to move this over just ever so slightly so that we're away from that glare.
The glare.
If we can. It seems that we're following it. Let me just move it over a wee bit to here.
Okay.
Try here. Right.
So
that's a bit better. I think, yeah, it's in between, so it's not in between us. It's not as if we'll get the light coming down on us from above.
If you didn't know it already, guys, we are at Dens Park.
Yeah, we're giving you the ocular proof that we go to the games, etc. Yeah, Luke McCowan was such an important player for Tony Docherty, but they're a good team. That they got a point against Rangers last time out at Dens Park. They've also had a free weekend to prepare for this game. Celtic played on the Saturday, then it's a quick turnaround for Tuesday. Would you say that's a bit of an advantage for Dundee, or do you think Celtic, because they're in the groove of things, because they've been scoring goals pretty freely, they have the advantage going into this game?
I think Dundee will have wanted another game at the weekend, Ryan, to capitalise and build on that Rangers performance. You know, Celtic coming's great in terms of the back-to-back, but they were very impressive against Rangers, and a couple of really impressive performances. Silla in the middle of the park, for one, we spoke about him off air. He was excellent, and you know, they can cause Celtic problems. Celtic need to be bang at it again tonight, and I'm sure they will be, but Dundee have players in their setup that can cause them problems. And you know, everybody's saying, oh, Celtic are 15 points ahead. This is the kind of night where, you know, it's right for dropping points. It's not right for dropping points if you're professional and you're clinical, Ryan, and you go about your business the way they did on Saturday. A lot of people said on Saturday as well about it wasn't a 4-1 game. Go and watch it back. Ross County goalkeepers there.
The stats as well. I think they had something like 27 shots, 13 on target. You know, as much as Don Cowie was saying it was harsh on his players, if you look back, and he's probably looked back at that game since Saturday and was like, right, maybe the scoreline actually did catch up with what it was supposed to be in that contest between the two sides.
If it was more, Ryan, you wouldn't have begrudged Celtic it, because they created a lot of opportunities. So I'm hoping for the same again. You know, you trust that back four to be safe as houses. It's a uncharacteristic error from Alistair Johnston that lets Ross County back into the game. You know what I mean? So, and also I read a report today from one of the referees saying he's now painted a target on his back because because he's a master of the dark arts of defending. He shoved a guy in the back, Ryan. I mean, come on, it's hardly the dark arts, but these kind of things are, you know, this is the backdrop that Celtic are fighting against. You know, things that were maybe done to, you know, try and upset Celtic's rhythm and Celtic's, you know, upset Celtic's apple cart or whatever you want to call it. But Rodgers is too professional for that. Alistair Johnston's far too professional for that. You know, he's an uncharacteristic error. But dark arts, do me a favour, eh?
I don't agree with that whatsoever, because he's not that sort a player at all. I don't understand that agenda that's been set towards Alistair Johnson. Maybe they're looking for something negative for the player. Yes, the penalty was given against him, but he's been so positive for Celtic this season. I think you could probably count on one hand the amount of bad games or subpar games he's had this season. He's such an important player for Celtic, and he starts again tonight, and you wouldn't bet against him getting an assist like he has been getting in quite a few games this season, and maybe on the score sheet as well.
And there was even footballers calling for him to be red carded. Denial of a goal, clear goal scoring opportunity and all this.
I think that's very harsh.
But this is footballers who usually talk and say you never want a player sent off, yet they were advocating it, but didn't advocate for the Ross County defender to get sent off when he clattered into Yang. So there has to be some kind of consistency here in terms of that kind of stuff. But as I say, I trust that back four to be pretty safe as houses. Every time you mention Cameron Carter-Vickers and Trusty, that song pops into your head, the American Boy song, and I don't know if it's a belter or rotten, I'm not sure, I've still weighing it up in my mind, but those two guys are solid, right? And so I have no qualms about the defence being able to shut Dundee out tonight.
Yeah, another big talking point. I'll go back into the midfield. Obviously, Paulo Bernardo starts. First game in a wee while that he started ever since. I think he's actually his first game since Ibrox that he started for Celtic. Now, he didn't have a good game. Nobody did at Ibrox for Celtic. But he's going back to a ground that he knows pretty well. I remember on Boxing Day, he came here and he really did announce himself as a Celtic player. Through that whole festive period, actually, last season, I think he won his own contract in that 5-6 game spell. He's going back to a ground that he knows well, where he has played well. What are you expecting tonight from him? Are you expecting grit and drive, a wee bit of flair as well? I mean, that assist he got in the last home game, in which he put it through his legs before Rio Hatate got on the end of the shot and the subsequent goal. That just shows you how quality he can be, and it's a great option both off the bench and as he is on tonight. He's in the starting lineup.
I'm hoping he has that purple patch again, Ryan, and he scored his first ever goal for Celtic here, 3-0 win, as you say, and then went on to have a 4 or 5 game spell where he was
I seem to remember we said that he only scores good goals. I would go and have a look at that goal that he scored in that night. That was him just, I don't know, breaking the seal or something like that. He scored a good goal ever since then, but it was as scrappy as you're going to get from Paulo Bernardo. What do you expect tonight from him?
I think he's a class act, Ryan. He can probably count himself unfortunate to be out of the team. Nobody get past Matt. Well, I think 2 people get past Matt, if that. Kasper Schmeichel and Cameron Carter-Vickers, but then that's debatable as well. But so I think Ibrox is a write-off. It's consigned to the dustbin. But I'll always say about Paulo Bernardo, why are people surprised the guy's a footballer? He's came from one of the best elite academies in European football, Benfica, who produce players by the sackful, and so he's had a great learning curve and a great breeding ground, and played against alongside some elite company. So added to the flair, but he's also got that hunger to do the dirty work, Ryan, if need be. And as we've seen, he can score belters as well, can score cracking goals. So I'm just looking for him to kind of pick up the cudgels, not from Ibrox, as everybody was just a letdown at Ibrox. So let that go and just do what you're brought here to do. Why you earned that contract was because of that flair and that creativity, that drive, passion, and a bit of dig in the midfield. So same as really for him.
Scoreboard pressure tonight, Tony. Celtic's title, their title rivals are in action tomorrow, Aberdeen and Rangers respectively, and third and second obviously. Is it big for Celtic to just continue to do what they're doing and then see what happens at the other end of the city tomorrow at Ibrox, keep on going? What is your scoreline prediction tonight? How do you see this game going? Because I know there's been a multitude of sort of predictions. Maybe this could be a potential banana skin game for Celtic. How do you see this game going tonight, Tony?
I think Celtic will win comfortably. I think they'll win 3-0 or by 3 clear goals like they did on Saturday. I just think the bit's between the teeth. I really do think Ibrox stung everybody, because I don't think they believed that kind of level of performance was in them, but it was. And I think they've been determined to answer the question since, because everybody said, well, it's how you react. That's 3 wins in the spin, scoring 9, conceding 1, a penalty. They'll want to keep that going. It's not a procession per se to the title, but it's fast becoming one. Yeah. As I said the other week, that ultramarathon's become a sprint, and I think Celtic want to try and get this wrapped up as quickly as possible. And this is another one that they're just ticking off, knocking them down like Skittles, chalking them off, whatever phrase you want to use. And I just think that the manager's determined to keep that winning record going after Rangers. Just keep it going.
Absolutely. I think it'll be 4-1 to Celtic. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet because I think this Dundee side are quite dangerous, as we've seen against Rangers. Yes, they scored one goal. I think they should have scored more than one goal on the night. They had a couple of really good chances. One was given offside, quite rightly, due to VAR, but they had another couple of chances, one that they skied over the bar in the second half. They did have chances, as did Rangers, but maybe a one each draw was the right result on the night. Is there anything else you want to touch upon in this game?
You talked about that scoreboard pressure. We always talking about controlling the controllables. Can't control tomorrow, but you can go 18 ahead. And again, that pendulum of pressure swings back down Ibrox way. So take care of business yourself tonight and make it 18 and make it 4 wins in the spin after the defeat in New Year to Ibrox, and feel good about yourself again. Get into a Scottish Cup tie, and then, as I said to John on Monday, what's that coming over the hill? It's the young boys are burning. Everybody's just like, they're too scared to mention it at this minute in time, but you cannot not think about it. It's in the manager's thinking with the team selection. It's in everybody's thinking. Even tonight, we were talking about it's the biggest Celtic game in Europe since when. Everybody will have their own.
At least a decade, if not 2 decades, in my opinion, Tony.
I threw the Milan game away to you in 2006. I said it's probably the most.
During Kaka mania for AC Milan.
Yeah, when Celtic were playing in the San Siro, a goal would have put them through to the quarter-final of the Champions League. I think it's the most important tie in that sense since then, because of the prestige and the honour and what it means. I know you can't look too far ahead, and tonight, it's all about tonight, but you can't help it, Ryan. It's looming large.
It's a big game, and we will be all over the Celtic way covering it for you. We'll have Tony's instant analysis, we'll have my player ratings as near to full time as possible. We'll also have Q&As from the manager and a player that gets put up, maybe some extra stuff as well along the way, so please check out the Celtic way. We're currently doing £1 for 6 months, which gets you transfer news, in-depth analysis, opinion pieces from Tony and myself, John, Stuart Ross, Alan Morrison, anything that you're looking for with regards to Celtic. £1 for 6 months, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. You get access to that brilliant app that we've got in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store on iOS devices. Thank you very much to each and every one of you for joining us. We hope that this worked out without a hitch. We'll probably check back after the video and see if anything's went untoward. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's went well. We'll try and do it after the match as well, time permitting and weather permitting and lighting permitting as well. You know, we've got all these factors, but we'll try our best to do one of these after the game as well. Until then, thank you very much to everybody. Enjoy the game. Fingers crossed for another 3 points for Brendan Rodgers and his Celtic side, and we'll see you all just after full time. Cheers, guys.